Hello, it's Tierlist time again. Yeah, you guessed it, Tierlist time again. As always, these are just my opinions and of like low GM, high diamond, casual player. So take it with a grain of salt. I'm not the best player in the world. I only watch VODs of people in higher ranks like Celestial and One Above All. I watch VODs and streams, but I'm not there myself, you know. And with that, let's jump right into it. So for tanks, starting with Angela, I think Angela's one of the better tanks in the game. Maybe A, but definitely up here. Just nothing that was good about her got nerfed. Nothing that countered her got buffed to a point where she was unplayable. She was really good then. She's really good now. Let's get this out of the way. I think Strange is better than Mag this season. I think he's more consistent. Mag is really good at shutting down support ults, but I think Strange is more consistent. He's also easier, so if I need somebody else to hop on a shield tank, I would much rather have them on Strange than Mag, because he's easier to learn. He's more consistent. The buff to his E lets him one-shot through ults, so he can also shut down support ultimates. And then with the Invis team up, Invis is also really good this season. He can really shut down ults because you don't even need as much charge because it is stronger. So I think he's still ass. Hell, I might put him in D tier. I think Hulk is D tier. Oh, I didn't even talk about Mag. Mag is fine. He's exactly the same as he was. He's a really good defensive Titan, but he's not as aggressive, and he just can't make the same plays because at the skill level of the people that I'm at right now, if they're on Mag, I will outperform them in most metrics. It's easier for me to target backline. It's easier for me to pressure frontline. I can juggle my own health bar and my shield to help people get off, whereas Mag just kind of gets stuck doing the same 5 actions, shut down support ult. At the higher ranks, he's probably way better, but where I am, it's much easier and better, and you get more value consistently off Strange. Sometimes Mag is crazy good and he pops off, and I'll pop off on Mag, or someone else will pop off on Mag, but for the most part, I think he's fine. He's just whatever. I think Strange is more consistent. Hulk. Pointing at the screen like you can see me doing it. Hulk's just shit, dude. Sometimes, like really low floor. Now, sometimes I want to put Hulk here or even here. But for the most part, I see a Hulk and I go, oh, they're throwing. They're just buns. Because if my supports are competent enough, he doesn't do enough to them to like warrant existing. And he doesn't do enough to frontline or DPS to warrant existing. I mean, he's good at grabbing flyers out of the sky, I suppose, but giving him unstoppable only in his Monster Hulk form means his neutral is no better. He was only ever good in his ult, so why aren't you making his neutral better? You're making his ult better. His ult was already the only good thing about him. That's what I gotta say. Now, Captain America, I think it's B tier. I don't think he has gotten any significantly better or significantly worse since the last time he was buffed. He's still consistently played in high ranks. He's a good staller. Giving ults to your team is very good, but there's other characters that do that. Gambit, Rogue can even take it from the enemies, which messes up their ult rotation. Like, I just think there's better characters that do it better. I think Tank Pool is still really good, but I don't find as much consistent success, both on him and with him on my team. Like, it used to be just, you pick Tank Pool over as the best, Tank Pool wins, but I don't see him as much. And so I can't attest if that's how it still works. Most of the time, I can shut him down real easily if I'm playing a shield. I just put it in front of them, and then they don't really do anything about it. All the poke is really good. So, and I don't think his pistols, because his shield isn't very good, and his pistols, therefore, suffer. Right? His pistol form suffers, and when he's using his katanas, he really suffers from being shot at. Think of Punisher, Phoenix, Iron Fist can mess him up when he's in... Like, there's just so many things that counter him, is what I'm trying to say. I think Emma, honestly, is the most balanced she's ever been. I think she's the most balanced she's ever been. I'm doing this. and you can't stop me. I think she's the most balanced she's ever been. Genuinely, I do not feel like Emma, like, oh, they're playing Emma, Jesus, I have to play entirely differently now. I still have to switch up my playstyle. I have to be wary of her diamond form, when and how she uses it, because if she uses it when I strange ult or when I thing ult or whatever to interrupt ults, you baited it out. You pretty much did it. Her strongest utility is now off the table. But I don't have to change my entire gameplay to go around it, if that makes sense. It's just more of a, oh, bait it out, be wary of it, like every other character's ability. I think she's the most balanced she's ever been. But with Poke being as strong as it is, and her having a super strong diamond form, she's still S tier. Groot, people aren't going to like it. I think Groot is A tier. There we go, got it. I think Groot's A tier. And I think Groot in and of himself is S tier. Let's get out of the way, because I think he's power crept to hell and back. I think he is probably the best tank in the game. But I think he's the worst. I don't think he's the best. No, I don't think he's the worst either. Let me think and then talk. I think on his own, he is S tier. But at the end of the day, he doesn't stay top of S because he just forces the enemy team to play Hela or Hawkeye or Bucky. Storm even does the trick. Star-Lord can do it. Phoenix, Moon Knight, Punisher, characters that are already good, but just really excel at standing there, either taking off angles or standing by their supports and shooting a tank. Shooting a tank or shooting people on off angles when they can, and Groot kind of melts to that. There's so many times I play Groot, or I play against a Groot, and their walls are up for less than half a second. At higher ranks, he's probably really, really good, probably deserves that top of the tier list spot. But what I'm playing right now, whenever I play Groot or they play Groot, sure, I force their team to swap, but I force their team to swap to meta. They swap to Punisher and Phoenix and Wolf and Bucky and Hela and Hawkeye, and like, those are already really good characters. They're already meta heroes. If you're not playing those, like Elsa also beats his ass. Why would I want you on those characters if you're not playing those characters already? Why would I want you there, right? So I think he's fine. I think Venom's B tier. Maybe bottom of A. He just doesn't... I don't see him providing as consistent value in this season. He's always diving in. He's always getting his overshield. He's always surviving a long time. Everything that I said he does really well before. And his anti-heal, he always has his ult up super often. But with everything else that just got buffed, he just doesn't... He's more of like a gnat. Because all the supports are still really good. A lot of the supports can kind of just ignore him. Or like use one util to push him away and then keep going. Like if I'm playing Luna, he's not worth my time. I stun him, say he's on my backline, walk away out of his range, and heal my team. If someone on my team is helping Peel, they got him. I don't even have to deal with him. You know, he's just kind of a gnat. And when they're really good, they do a lot of damage. But overall, I don't see it doing that much. Penny, I think, is C tier. She's a walking bullet magnet, like I think Groot is, but she has no surviving factors. I might even put her D with Hulk. I think she really fell off. She's a walking bullet magnet. Her overshield that she gets every second doesn't negate half of it, because if she's not at full health, it's only health over time, and the health over time is like half of what her shields would be, which means you never hit full health off that, which means you're never getting the blue shield, so you're just a walking bullet magnet, walking ult farm. It is just terrible to play Penny in this economy. I don't know why you'd do it. But there are niche exceptions where Penny is really good, like when your team doesn't know how to shoot a nest, like what just happened to me 40 minutes ago. And then the Cloak and Dagger walks into it in their ult and dies on contact with several mines and the spider bots and goes, "Why hasn't nobody shot the nest? Oh my god, my team is so bad." You walked into it. It's red and yellow and telling you not to go there, and you walked into it. Genuinely, it's really not that hard to not walk into the penny mines. It shouldn't be. It tells you exactly where it is, and it's kind of the DPS job to do it, because a lot of the tanks can't break it, or like they can't break it from around corners, so they don't have the util to do it. Mag can, Groot can sometimes, but it doesn't reset the cooldown, it just moves it, which is kind of useful in and of itself, but whatever. I don't think Penny's very useful. Like, niche scenarios where she can do good, but just not very well. I think Thor's A tier. I think Thor is probably better than Angela, because he can do anything you need him to. He can fill any slot of tank that you need him to fill on your team. He's just incredibly good at that. He's very flexible. Yeah, he's pretty good. I think Thing is above Venom, but still B tier. Like Penny, like I think for Groot, walking bullet magnet doesn't have a lot to stop being a bullet magnet other than punching things. You have to consistently be landing your punches, and the right click punch, not your fist, not your actual primary. But what I think his saving grace is he really shuts down the dive, and if they're playing Thor and Angela, you really shut that down. If they're playing Tank Pool, you can shut that down. You can shut down Venom. You can shut down Cap. His ability to just shut things down puts him B tier. The only problem is if they play Hawkeye, Hela, Elsa, Punisher, Duelist, Deadpool, Moon Knight, Phoenix, sometimes Wanda, if their Wanda's a pain, Bucky, Wolverine, you're gonna just die. You're just a magnet for all the bullet, unless you're playing triple supports, and they are the goats. I've had times where I've played into 2 poke DPS, and they've been the goats. None of the poke tanks really stop Thing, because he can always close the gap. He can always punch them and get the shields up, because they don't do enough damage to negate that, except maybe Strange and Groot, with the Strange's E and Groot's walls. But the DPS just do too much damage, and you can't really do it unless you have supports that just heal you the entire time. And sometimes you do, and that's goated, but it's not often. I think Rogue is right there with Cap, either above or below. Suffers from all the same things that Cap suffers from, but with more buttons. Actually, I think Rogue is better. Way more versatile, but way less consistent, if I have to say it. Her block, it either feels like it doesn't have enough duration or doesn't block enough damage sometimes. Sometimes it feels great, so I don't really know if that's a skill difference or not. Cooldowns, lots of cooldowns, lots of abilities to use and when to use them, decisions to be made. Her actions per minute is incredibly high. Her choices, do I take the damage boost or do I take the healing over time? Do I take healing over time, then pop my ult so I can get more healing over time, so that way I don't die, and then I can go get health from the tanks with my ult? Like, what do I do in what moment? What ult do I need to stop? Genuinely, probably one of the harder heroes I've tried to learn. She's very good, she's just not as consistent. Her block doesn't even stop CC, so you are still... So it doesn't even prevent you from being in CC hell, whereas Captain America's shield kinda stops it a little bit sometimes. But yeah, I think the tanks are pretty balanced this season, because even these ones I have in B tier, like, pair them with one of these A or S tier, and they're really good. I've played Groot Rogue and 8 up. I've played Mag Rogue and 8 up. I've played Emma Cap, and I've eaten ass. I've played Penny once or twice this season and done really well. I don't play Hulk. But I think all of these guys are pretty balanced. You can play them interchangeably. But because poke is so strong, you're going to need some way to stop it. It's just mandatory. And while Groot's really good, he doesn't stop the poke. He forces you to play poke because they do so much consistent damage. And then that poke that he forced you to play counters him, and you'll need one of these guys to stop the damage. To do something other than a meat shield, because otherwise I just place the Groot wall and it's gone within 3 seconds. I'm trying to cut off a tank, or I'm trying to cut off a DPS, gone instantly. Like, And I only mentioned the DPS who can destroy it really fast, which is the insane part. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Well, I mean, that's pretty much it for tanks. Now for supports. Adam C. His flying didn't really make him any better. Didn't make him worse. Well, it made him better, but it made him better to compete in a space that's been power crept to hell and back, which he doesn't fit in anymore, which is why what I talked about in like butchering triple supports video that I have. It helps him compete in the same space as Hela or Phoenix, but you would never play Adam over Hela or Phoenix. And even at this level, why would you play Adam over Cloak, Luna, Gambit, Heal Pool, Luna, Invis, Luna and Invis. I'm getting them mixed up starting 2 seasons ago. I'm genuinely losing my mind. Or Mantis, or Loki, or Rocket, or Jeff. They just all work better as a third support because they can heal more. And in this game, while I think it should be for utility and damage, like to pad out your stats and do a different team comp, it should be that way. But it is not that way. When you play triple support, you play it for 3 support ults and 3 healing. So you have more healing and more support ults. And that is a terrible thing, but it is a thing that exists. And it has existed since the game starts, so why would you play Adam over anyone else? That being said, I think Cloak and Dagger is top of A. Top of A. Wait, I'm putting the supports there, so it's all the tanks done in support. And I would put her up because I think the Terror Cape buff, where you can just blind and damage boost your team multiple times super fast, and even heal your team a lot on off cooldown, is really good. She heals 16 per bullet in an AoE, and sure, you get more healing, but it's not as important healing, if that makes sense. Because let's say they're playing grouped Strange. And like we said, the group does a lot of healing, and Strange does. Or they're playing Strange Emma or Strange Angela, and their DPS are Phoenix Hawkeye. They're playing Phoenix Hawkeye or Phoenix Elsa. Which happens a lot of the times in my games, where not all of these overpowered heroes get banned, and so they, like, what are you going to do? It's just too much damage. Phoenix, Elsa, Hawkeye, Hela do too much damage for Cloak and Dagger to keep up with. Unless you play in a tight ball. But even then, Bucky gets a lot of help out of that. Phoenix gets a lot of help from that. Like, a lot of these characters get a lot of help from that, and while Cloak is really good at fending off dive, she's not a character that can ignore the dive characters. You either place your healing, and then you switch to Cloak, and you attack them, or you blind them as Cloak, or you dismiss and get away. Like, you only really have one option to ignore dive, outside of fighting it, really needs peeling. And so I don't think they succeed in this environment as well, because you could play Invis or Gambit. But I do think outside of these 3, they are the best. Outside of these 2, I'll get to him. Invisreal, you know how it is. Nothing's changed. The shield healing for less is fine, but that was never really the problem. It heals her and it blocks a bunch of damage. The problem is that it does everything. They gave her the ability to do everything all at once, to negate any sort of bad positioning with one button on their keyboard. Boop, all my bad positioning is gone. Boop, your entire push is gone. I boop and then push, well, you're fucked, because I got 200 more HP and refilled my base HP. Kinda bullshit, right? It didn't really fix that problem. They should have just removed the button, and it raises her skill floor, but she's still super strong because she was already top 3 supports before she got that button, and then they don't want to take away the button, which is, it is what it is. Gambit, even better. The ult is a free push. No matter what you do, the ult is a free push. You just win off that ult every single time. Actions per minute are insane. As a third DPS, wait, what am I talking about? I'm talking about Gambit, right? Yes, great. his actions per minute are insane. He can counter every single ult damn near every ult in the game, damn near every tank ult in the game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, he doesn't counter the damage, but the anti. Like, he can counter damn near everything in this game with just his base buttons, and then his ult does everything and gives you a free push, and you can just win off the push if you can hit enough shots. And of course, that relies on your team hitting shots, but a lot of these characters aren't the hardest to hit shots on, and it's just kind of a, yeah, you know? I like him. I like the idea of him being a jack of all trades. I like him being a playmaker support. I've said this all the time. I like that he can do everything, but he should have to choose and commit. And the fact that he doesn't have to choose and he doesn't have to commit to what he's doing is it's like his skill floor is super low because of it. And the skill ceiling is incredibly high because of it, because you don't have to choose, so you're not really punished for choosing wrong in any specific moment, but you're also not punished for you're not really rewarded for choosing correctly all the time, because you can choose correctly and get the same results as if you chose incorrectly, if you know what I mean. And this is, yes, support pool. I'm putting him there. I don't think he's as good. Mechanically, he takes a lot more skill to get consistent healing from. His AoE AFK button's really good. His ult, as long as you're in sword form, is pretty decent, especially if your team uses it to become aggressive and attack and like brawl out. Even like if I'm playing Strange, he ults and then Strange goes in and just starts doing that. They kind of have to back off, and the fact that he has it every single team fight, and sometimes if the team fight is drawn on long enough, multiple times a team fight, that's really annoying and really unfun for the other team. It's just, whoopsie daisy, we hate you, and it's awful, and I hate him. Luna, I think, is just, but I don't think he has the same skill expression. Like, while I think he's annoying, I think Luna's better, does more damage, does more healing, has a better ultimate, has better utility for her team. But I don't know. One of these two. It'd be his ultimate, getting his ultimate all the time, which puts him higher for me, but only as a third support. He kind of only really works in third support area, so I'm putting him that low. Luna, it's just your base support, does everything. As often as I complain about how much damage Luna does, I'm like, oh, that's all headshots. She still does more damage than Adam, and that's some bullshit. Like, oh, hitting all the shots of a burst. Yeah, but she also shoots faster than Adam. So you don't even have to hit all the shots of the burst to do more DPS than Adam, because you can just shoot faster. And then her claps don't even do... I have done in-game more damage without the claps than I have with the claps. And the claps are supposed to increase her damage. It increases damage and healing, lets you go through everybody. And so I use it to farm ult, but like where I would have gotten a kill, I didn't get a kill because I was using the collapse. It's kind of stupid. Her snowball's much better, especially since now, I know it was a few seasons ago, but they upped the speed of its travel time. Fucking busted. Don't know why we did that, but ooh, I'm Marvel Rivals. I do whatever I want. It's whatever. Ultron, I think, is here. Maybe here. His AFK healing is really good, and sometimes it shows you, like, oh, the best on the team. 2 drones doesn't really mean much since they don't overlap, so you can't, like, double heal people. His healing never got any better. The damage boost is fine, especially since it's on a 10-second timer. But he is kind of just a DPS. And in the current meta, when you're playing triple support, why would you play your third support as Ultron when you could play Gambit, or Invis, or Cloak, or Luna, or Deadpool? They're all better. They're like, characters that function only as a third support and cannot even begin to function as a second. Like Deadpool, not the best second support. but he can do it. He's best in third support, but he can do it. And it gives him more free range to be more aggressive and use his ult more aggressively. But you just can't compete with that when you're also a DPS hybrid character that can't compete in a 2-support meta. So, no, it's not a 2-support meta. In 2-support team comp, it's like, why would you ever play Adam when you could play anyone else in a 2-support? And then because Sustain is the meta, why would you play Adam when you could play anyone else? Doesn't make sense. Mantis, I'm putting Mantis here. Because I think Mantis is really good. I think her team up with Loki is really good. I think she takes a lot of skill, though, and I don't see a lot of good Mantis players. Sometimes I'm like, oh, we'll run 2 supports and Mantis will run it the fuck down. When we play 3 supports, Mantis's damage boosts are insane. They can counter dive very well. They do everything so well except healing output. And healing output, unfortunately right now, matters the most. And so I can't put her above, because even Cloak and Dagger does more to boost me up to full than a Mantis does, and it's just a shame. Loki. I'm putting Loki just above Cloak and Dagger, maybe below. He lacks self-healing. Most of his options against dive, and if he's being pressured on an off angle, are run away. And if you use your runes, your lamps, too early, you kind of sentence your team to you kind of give your team a death sentence. So that's why I don't think he's as good as Cloak and Dagger. I think Cloak and Dagger has more options and more actions per minute, while Loki's overall better. See, if we were in a higher rank, I'd say here. If we were talking about a higher rank and not my game's experience, I'd say here, because you just play these 3 and you win. Oh no, what are you gonna do? You dove us. Pow pow. Loki shot the ground at your feet twice, and Invis pushed you after that, and you're dead. Or you have to run away. And that's not even mentioning Gambit, if Gambit decides to look at you, and then they all just look at their team again. And they do incredible amounts of healing. But I've never seen it like that. I don't think he has as many actions per minute. And they just be using Loki lamps for anything, dude. Just for anything. Rocket. I think Rocket's B, and so is Jeff. Because their healing is really good, but the amp can be destroyed. Your healing, well, both of their healing is pretty decent, but their healing can be the amp can be destroyed. Your ult is most likely going to miss, unless you know the new Invisible Jeff ult technique, which I didn't know until I think last week, and I've been trying to practice that, but I don't play support often. But your ult's likely going to miss, and even if you hit people most of the time, you just die for it. So what's the point? Your ult can be destroyed, and it gets destroyed really fast. It's really good combo, so they're really good in third. Much better than these two are in third, but just not as good. The healing puddle he leaves behind is fine, just not enough to sustain the whole team. Your actual beam is genuinely better. You can hit your entire team with your beam. You can use bubbles while you're just using your primary. And it's more healing. It's more healing, and you can use your bubbles. And you have escape priorities, so you can't use anything while you're underwater. And on a lot of maps, underwater doesn't mean anything. Like on a lot of maps for Rocket, there's just certain points where you have team fights, and there's not a good spot to put the ult, from where I've seen. Especially if you're being pressured super hard, and like you're not actually at the point, but you're right behind it or right in front of it. Where am I going to put it? Thinking on the fly. Unless you have a pre-designated spot, sometimes there's just not really good spots. It also just gets destroyed really fast. It doing overshield instead of health is really good for it, because it doesn't farm it's harder for them to farm their ults in it. But you can't heal and damage at the same time, so you could just play Mantis and still do healing over time and damage boost and have a better ult, and your better ult has speed boost in it, and not only does it have that, it also gives bonus health after they reach full, which means it's harder for them to hit farm ult charge off of. You see what I mean? Like, he's good, but I just play these. Oh yeah, but that's about it for supports. And then for DPS, Black Panther's D tier. He's annoying, but he's not very good. Blade. People say Blade is really bad. Like, the worst character in the game. He's so bad he can't even be played. I genuinely don't think he's that bad. I think he is playable, but not the best. Because if you play him correctly, you can really just make Tank's life hell. At least at my rank, I will see him being played with either Rocket, Sue, Jeff, Cloak and Dagger. Anyone who could just look at the tank and heal most of their team. So it's AoE healing and stuff like that. I'll see Blade played with that because they get the healing from them. They get the healing from playing into the other tank. And you just anti them. And if their team isn't playing triple support, you force them on triple support because they're antied and it's not enough healing to keep them up, because not only is that tank, who's probably the only shield tank on their team, getting beaten down by Blade, they're probably getting shot at by the other tank and by other people. If they're playing Jeff, then they're getting damage from the Jeff, they're getting damage from the Jeff, which is also healing the people on their team. I think in the right comp he's playable. I don't think he is the worst character in the game. Do I think his anti-heal is bad because they gave it to every other character in the game? Yeah. But after his sword buffs, I genuinely don't think he's the worst character in the game. Before the sword buffs, I would have put him down here, like not even worth playing. Not even worth playing. Like, I think Black Panther might be here. It's genuinely not worth playing most of the time, but I think he's worth playing. Still S tier. He's not bad. I put him in S tier. That should be obvious. He's not the best, right? He doesn't insta-kill everybody. But he's still really hard to kill. He's still an overshield merchant. So it takes all their focus away, and then Daredevil gets out free. It's like Spidey. When Spidey was super annoying and really good, it was like, why would I put all this effort, peel for Spidey, just for him to run away, and now we've lost 20 meters of space in this team fight because he forced us all to come back, and now he's not even there. We didn't even get the kill. They pushed up. They have advantage on us. That's how I feel about Daredevil all the time. Like, unless I go to specifically counter him and someone else is playing a shield tank. When I am playing a shield tank or a main tank and I am at the front, I have to deal with their front line. I have to deal with their team. I don't have the ability to go back and babysit that Daredevil, because the second I get back there, he's gone. Nobody can kill him, and it's stupid. DPS pool. It's mid. Why play him when you could play these two? These two. They're just much better. They're much better alternatives. He's not bad, but it feels like the role that they wanted him to be is kind of his worst one, and that's pretty silly, and it's pretty funny that they haven't buffed it, to my knowledge. Like, not any noticeable buff that sticks out in my memory, because I read them all, I just can't remember it, because it's not noticeable. Elsa, fuck that bitch. The ults weren't... You made a highly mobile poke slop hero. I complain that Psylocke's primary is poke slop, and it's supposed to be a dive character. Now you made this character with hypermobility, with a gun that's supposed to be like, oh, this is the ranged option. The elephant gun, that's the ranged option, that's why it pierces. But her main shotgun is a tighter spread and less fall off than Psylocke. So why'd we do that? It also has infinite range, by the way. So why'd we do that? It's genuinely poke. If it was a wider spread, harder fall off shotgun, and she had crazy mobility, and she was like supposed to be running in, getting combos, head tapping, and it was just like she couldn't one tap with the shotgun like Punisher can, but she does a lot of damage with the shotgun. I could see that. I could see that being good. But why is she just infinite range? She is everything Psylocke. It feels like the way they designed Psylocke, they went, yeah, we're just gonna make everything that Psylocke has good and do it all better and call it a new hero, even though it's not. It's a 2-burst, infinite range, low drop-off shotgun, tight spread. It's a tighter spread than shotgun. Oh, That sounds like Psylocke's infinite range, low drop off damage, tight spread shotgun, 2-burst shotgun. Oh, but it's actually even better than that. Oh, well, the right click must be some sort of ability that hits multiple targets and grants some sort of effect, right? Yeah, but unlike that, you don't even have to hit them. It just bounces around like Moon Knight. Oh. 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 Oh, yeah, but she has a dash, by the way, and her dash, she can use it all the time. Low cooldowns. The more damage you do, the lower the cooldown. So it's like Psylocke's 2 dashes, right? We have to manage it. No, you get it like every 2 seconds. By the end of the first fight, you pretty much get it every 2 seconds. It's pretty awesome. Oh. 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 Well, you're giving a form of Psylocke invisibility, right? No, we decided, fuck that. It kind of wasn't the most useful on this character. We wanted this character to be as broken as possible, right? So we instead gave her a magic dash, one of Magic's dashes. We made it better than Magic's dashes, and you don't even have to actually hit the person with the dash. You don't even have to, because I thought it'd be too fair if you had to aim. It'd be too fair if the person playing Elsa actually had to do a little bit of thinking. And then after you do that, you can use Punisher Smoke. So that way you don't have to fully commit to being engaged on them. You just get to run away. Because we want them to poke. We want to be Psylocke, but, everything is better. That being said, I'm putting Psylocke in B tier. It's an alt farming bitch. I didn't even talk about Elsa's ult. Elsa's ult is insane. Even though they lowered the hitbox and they said, oh, fuck. You guys are mad that it can carry you for 12 seconds at a time without letting you do anything and letting your entire team shoot at you? What? Why would you be mad at that? Fine, we'll cut it down to 6 seconds. And we'll make the hitbox not as crazy, I guess. I guess we'll give it a reasonable hitbox. What are you doing, man? It didn't fix half the problems, but it's a step in the right direction, so I will take it. And now it's only 6 seconds that you can be stun locked by Elsa. And it still does the initial damage on grabbing you and the chomp damage, and it has you stand still for the entire team to shoot at you, but it's only 6 seconds. Psylocke is everything that Elsa is, but worse. The ult was just worsened, and even though I said technically they allow her to get her ult faster with her buff and nerf to her damage and the fall off, because they nerfed the damage and it decreased how much fall off she has, it's not enough to make a noticeable difference. It should be making her get ult faster, but not enough for me to genuinely notice it. And why would you ever play Psylocke? Just learn Elsa. It's pretty much the same character, but infinitely better. I didn't even talk about Elsa's trap. It's fucked up. Hawkeye's still really good. They didn't fix any of Hawkeye's problems. His problem wasn't that he can one-tap headshot. His problem was that he doesn't have to. On a one-tap headshot character, you shouldn't have a 3-tap body shot for a tank. You shouldn't be 3-tapping tanks. You can, and then with his cloak and dagger team up, you can 2-tap most things. You can farm ult on your archer's focus off somebody else, turn and do it, and then his ult is so busted because if he saw you once in the last 5 seconds, you're dead. Because it doesn't require aim, he just stands there and shoots a still target. For an aim-intensive character and a headshot kills character, it should require more than that. If his headshot kills and his body shot does that much damage, why doesn't Widow's headshot kill? His body shot genuinely can do as much damage as a Widow headshot. I have done it before. Well, probably not after his nerf, but it's comparable. Why would you ever play the other sniper character in this game when you can just play Hawkeye? They didn't fix the problem. The problem is his body shot, not his headshot. He should have a one-tap headshot. And that's kind of what his whole kit is made around. But lower the body shot damage by a lot. So that way you have to hit the head, because then he's skillful. He has a high skill ceiling, and he's still really good. But he's just not farming off body shots. Because I've played Hawkeye, and genuinely most of my kills in my Hawkeye game were missing my target and hitting another target in the body and doing most of their health bar. That's stupid. That's not skill-based. That's stupid. Hela. I think Hela's beat A tier, simply because Phoenix is S tier. They're the same character. Super aggro, infinite hit, headshots do a lot of damage, but Phoenix has better mobility, self-heal, a better stun, better mobility, a better stun, more options, can be more aggressive, self-heal, more AoE damage. Everything Hela does, Phoenix does better. It's like the Psylocke Elsa comparison, but not as egregious. I would say that it keeps Hela having a spot in the meta, especially since Phoenix is banned so often. Hela still has a spot. Human Torch, I think is C tier. Huge drop off. They just really need to commit to what they want him to be. He either needs to be a pseudo diver or he needs to not be. Either really enhance the shotgun aspect of him and really focus on that shotgun aspect and his mobility, or focus on the flame fields. And I don't think they know what they're doing, because sometimes you just poke from the sky and do a lot of damage with the flame fields and farm ult, and sometimes you have to like dive supports and an instant tap explode them. And sometimes you're supposed to be doing both, but it's never really complicit. And at the higher ranks, he's probably cracked. But I don't see him played in the higher ranks when I watch people. I don't see him played in my ranks. And when I do see him getting played in my ranks, it's always bad. So I think Iron Fist is A tier. Genuinely, he's really good. The block. What is there to say? CC on his basic attack, a block that blocks everything in an AoE around him. He doesn't even have to be looking at it, doesn't even have to be frame perfect. He can hold it for a long time and cancel it whenever he wants. It gives him better punches, faster punches, stronger punches, overshield comparable to the amount of damage he took. Gives him time to refresh all of his abilities. He has self-healing if he wants to heal himself on an off angle or just in the middle of the air for some reason. He's just got everything in his kit, man. He's a tank buster, but they also kept his damage high enough to threaten supports. Iron Man's D tier. He's a big-ass clunky man. And at the end of the day, he has to be clunky and easy to hit and a huge hitbox. Because if he wasn't, he'd be too easy to just spam repulsor blasts down on the enemy team. And if you're spam repulsor blast down on the enemy team, and if you're playing hit scan poke, play right behind his tanks and hold right click and eviscerate your tanks. He'd be too easy to do that shit with. And so he has to be clunky. But they just don't buff him in any meaningful way. He's kind of ass. I've never seen an Iron Man and gone, oh, thank God we're playing Iron Man. That's what we needed right now. I guess, because if we want to poke, I've already put like 8 better poke options up here. It's only 5. But still. Magic. I think Magic is top of A tier. Not always consistent. Well, sorry, that's not what I mean. Not always the best, but always consistently good. Every season, consistently good. This season, consistently good. With or without the Strange team up. Consistently good. Like, just, there's nothing that I think Magic super struggles into, since flyers aren't meta anymore. Like, most of the flyers are down here now. I think Magic's just a really good dive. One of the faster times to kill out of all the dive characters. Yeah. I think Fantastic C. Like I keep saying, he does not a lot of single target damage, which is what is the most important in the game at this current time. He has a lot of survivability, but he struggles to share that survivability with his team. He doesn't have a lot of utility to use on the enemy team. And so he just kind of does less damage than a DPS. And even though he survives longer, you can survive just as long as on Daredevil or on Elsa. I can survive unless it's like an all-out brawl stall for point. Then I really like him because him plus Venom, like just they can stall forever. But unless that's the scenario, even Thing I like in that scenario because everybody's standing on point, standing on cart, which means you get all your health back all the time. And people are gonna say about the whatever. This team up is not worth it. I can explain later if you want to know, but I didn't mention the tank one. That team up's not really worth it. Moon Knight, I think, is A tier. He gets ult every fight, man. And his ult pretty much guarantees a kill. If you're not stupid, you know how to use it, and you have an Ankh, you're guaranteed at least one kill. And at the worst case scenario, you can separate tanks from the rest of their team, especially around corners, and they die because of that. And it's dumb. It's stupid, and it's annoying, and I'm not mad that his ult is good. I like that he has a good and useful ult. I hate that he has it so often. It's genuinely so unfun. It's the least amount of fun that I have ever had when I see Moon Knight on their team and they're just aiming down the front lane. And I'm like, oh my god, as soon as I drop my fucking shield, I'm gonna get hit with Moon Knight non-stop, and it's gonna bounce through my team, and he's gonna have ult in fucking 5 seconds, and then we're gonna die. And we have to play dive and just focus Moon Knight, and that's not fun to focus a character because they're going to have ult. Because the rest of his kit is fairly balanced. But he just has ult so fast. Why does he have one of the lowest ult requirements in the game? It's stupid. For the amount of damage he does, B tier. His Hela team up is really good, but outside of that, unless you are the GOAT, I don't think he's that good. Because his squids are fine, but they don't do enough damage. You have to be the GOAT and hitting headshots consistently and have good target priority. Because when you hit a headshot, your squids focus on that person, which means you have to be hitting consistent headshots on the same person because you want your squids to finish off your kill, meaning you want them to target the same person for an extended period of time. If you hit one person with a headshot, then hit another person with a headshot, then hit another person with a headshot, your squids are aiming all over the place. You're not going to have them finish off a kill on any of those people you hit a headshot on, even if they're all squishies. So I don't think he's as good just because of the rank I'm playing in. I never see him pop off. Like, sometimes I'll see someone swap to him and they pop off on, like, anti-dive, but other than that, it is what it is. Wanda, I also think, is B tier. They're fine. Their CC is really good since it got buffed. They have that team up with Strange, so if you can't play any other DPS, you can play Wanda at least because her skill floor is lower. But if we're talking characters in the game, you could just play any of the better ones. Hell, sometimes Instant... I think I might put her C because I think I might want Ultron over a Widow. Nah, I'm going to put her there. Because I'd want one of these. Yeah, if you're gonna swap third support, like a lot of these supports can do more damage, have more util. If you really like the stun, you can just play Mantis. It's an AoE stun. Voice crack. Spider-Man, I think, is C tier. He's crazy. When you have a good one, you have a good one. But for the most part, all the people who are that good are out of my ranks. And so, where I am right, and if you're that good, you're going to leave my rank. If you are not out of the rank as a Spidey one-trick, you're probably playing a C-tier character because you're not getting the value you need. Right? Most of the time, it's just like one kill, wait for cooldowns, one kill, wait for cooldowns, and unless you're actively contributing all the time, it's really not worth it because Daredevil can actively contribute in neutral without blowing his entire kit. So can Iron Fist, so can Psylocke a lot of the time. So can Psylocke, so can Elsa. If you're good enough to make Spidey an A tier or an S tier character, because I think he has the highest skill floor and an infinite skill ceiling. I think I've said that in a video. Infinite skill ceiling. But if you're high enough to make him an A or an S tier character, you're not in my ranks. I have to stop talking soon. Holy shit, that was like 4 voice cracks. Yeah, you're just not in my ranks, and so it's Like, I'm talking about my rank. He's here in my rank. You might be here, but he's here. Squirrel Girl is also there. Just like, what are you doing, man? The most annoying character in the game, because, like, when I die to it, I don't go, oh, shoot, what can I do better? It's genuinely, how the fuck do I stop that from happening? They're not even looking at me. They were missing shots on our diver, and it accidentally killed me. They accidentally hit me twice, and it just killed me. What am I supposed to do about that? They weren't even aiming at me. Like, how do I stop that? Even when I'm playing shield tanks, it's so fucking annoying. Just remove her from the game. She's doesn't really have a niche. She's good at spamming out of choke points, but other than that, she doesn't have a niche. Oh my god, Star-Lord I think is S tier. Everything that I said that was good about Magic, it's also good about Star-Lord, but he's more consistent. He's just more consistent, and it's poke meta. It's always been a poke meta, and he pokes. Storm is B tier. She's good, but why would you play her? She's good, but why would you play Storm when you could play these guys, right? I don't think Storm is bad. I think all of her recent buffs are really good, and she's really balanced right now. But not a lot of characters in this game are balanced. And so she suffers because she's not power crept. And as soon as these guys get nerfed, she's going to be moving right up there because she's got the most recent buffs, so they're not going to nerf her next. They're going to, if they decide to hit people with the hammer, they're going to hit these guys with the hammer first, and then since they're going to drop, you're going to go, well, Storm's actually really good this season. Nothing's going to change about Storm, but Punisher's A tier. Same thing with Moon Knight. Ult's really fast, very good, consistent damage, punishes tanks really hard for playing, what is the word? For not playing cover good enough just because they can shoot. They punish anybody on off angles because they can just shoot you in the head. They punish divers with their shotgun. They punish tanks who want to play too aggressive because of the shotgun. Like if they're playing Punisher, I go, fuck. Can't play Thing, can't play Cap, can't play Rogue. I don't play Venom, but I couldn't. I can't even play Benny half the time. Can't play Hulk. Thor kind of gets busted by him. So does Angela sometimes. Like, fuck, shotgun. So, and then he also gets ult really fast. He can avoid a lot of the CCs with his turret. He's not as good as some of the other people, but he's consistent. And he's like beam of damage. It's like a laser. And then the shotgun's also really good, so it makes him consistent and a good choice all the time. I think Bucky is top of A tier. He's not quite S tier, because he's not power crept to the ability. But the second these guys stop being power crept, right up there, because this guy has AoE on his primary, like 8 CCs, hook, ball, dash, but the dash also has a second one. So yeah, 5 CCs, and that's not counting the stun that's attached to the hook, because it does stop whatever you're doing, so you can count 6 if you want to do that. Stupid. That's what it is. It's stupid. He also does crazy damage, especially that it pierces. It's like, I had to figure out how the AoE worked. It's a piercing damage in a cone that expands behind them. So this is them, like a cone, out. Starting small if you're close to them, and then getting bigger. So hitting more and more people as it goes out. So he's crazy damage against groups. He's got everything you need. And then the ult, I don't even think is the best part of his kit, if we're being so for real. Because there's so many times I see a Bucky ult and I go, okay, I'll just Emma ult, or I'll Penny Web, and then we just focus him. Or you cut him off with Groot, or multiple people just turn and shoot at him and he dies. He's soft and squishy, soft and squishy. That's what I always say. So, it's whatever. Wolverine, bottom of A. Right here. Really good. It is, when a Wolf is good, or when your people cannot save you, Wolf is insanely good. But other than that, Wolf's pretty ass. Because let's look at the tanks here. 1, 2, 3. Because you don't really have a way of saving yourself. You just have to run away. Most of the time, you will not be able to kill Wolf before he kills you. You just have to run away with your bubble. Most of the time, you will not be able to kill him before he kills you. Diamond form, kick him away, run. Most of the time, you will not be able to kill him before he kills you. You're seeing a pattern. A lot of the tanks in this game don't have an answer for Wolf. Wolf, you can't like counter a Wolf on tank. It is up to the rest of your team to counter him. And that's where he gets his value. Because if your team's not helping your tank, like actively helping him, they will not get away. They will die to the Wolf, especially if they're playing Wolf Phoenix. The amount of times that Phoenix has escaped the ban phase, and then they play these two, and then you play him, then you play her. Crazy work. Because Wolf will grab you. Oh, I'll heal. I'll fly away as Strange. Or I'll bubble. The bubble gets broken, or the thing gets broken. Pull. I'm dead. Nothing I can do. Nothing you can do. It's terrible. Even worse, Wolf and Blade is also a terrible combination for you. Because you get pulled, then you get antied, and then you just explode. That's not fun. That's terrible. Wolf is a sleeper pick. Not always the best. He's not as consistent as some of the other heroes. If he was more consistent, up there. His ult, they lowered the ult charge for it. Almost a guaranteed kill every single time, especially since he can target walls now. Genuinely amazing character. I hate him. There's no tank in this game that outright has an answer for him. All of your answers are run the fuck away. In a tank versus Wolf 1v1, the Wolf wins, and the tank tries its best to live. At least at my rank, at my skill level, with what I'm trying to do. Because when I try to play against him, oh no. I mean, I can try. If I have a full blast of the E, maybe I can if he doesn't have his passive. Left click, right click, left click, right click, left click is not helping your ass here. You can survive because you pop your bubble, you do that, and then your bubble breaks and you have another right click. You can survive, but only if your team is actively healing you. Because if Wolf took you back into their team, guaranteed it's more than just Wolf attacking you. Guaranteed. And then they can also pull you back in, and there's so many CCs in this game to stop you from getting out. Or like, if they're playing Wolf and Thor, and Wolf carries you back, and every time you try to get out, Thor pushes you around. Terrible for you. There's nothing you can really do about it outside of Emma, and you kick them away, and you run for your goddamn life. You either kick them away and run for your life, or kick them away, grab somebody who's like weak, and try to force like the team to back up because of your presence in Diamond form, because Diamond form is still really strong. But depending on where Wolf takes me when I'm playing Emma, nothing I can do about it. And yes, you can say, oh well, then don't let Wolf grab you. What? You know, that's harder than it sounds, right? And it's not consistent. And like, even on Groot, if they play Wolf and Phoenix, the walls go down super fast. I have my wall that like keeps me, even if I hide that wall around corners so I can't be grabbed, the fucking ferret just walks at me. And I still fucking die. Unless my team actively helps me, pushes him off of me, or like heals me through it. My walls don't block him off long enough, and I can still die to it. But yeah, all that to say, I think Wolf could be top tier. He's just not consistent enough to be there. That's about it. And as a recap, my opinions for my rank: I play casually, top of DM, top of Diamond, bottom of GM, consistently. So yeah, that's about it. Wet Willy.